I don't know if you heard about this article and interview that's been going around today, but let's talk about this. I certainly have my thoughts, and it does raise great conversation to be had. As of today, March 28, 2024, dachshunds are under threat as Germany proposes a ban on breeding them. Their National Kennel Club is citing that the breeding causes skeletal anomalies. Take a look at the clip.
Lawmakers are considering a law that targets torture breeding. The draft bill aims to prohibit practices that produce skeletal anomalies or that inflict long-term suffering on animals. The stubby legs and the long back make a dachshund's kind of a target, says the German Kennel Club.
Now listen, as a veterinarian and as a dachshund dad for many, many years, I totally understand where they're coming from with this. Are we breeding for the right reasons? If you didn't know, the reason why dachshunds have those long backs is because they're badger dogs and they're designed to go into tunnels to dig and get out badgers and vermin. But they are very prone to back disease, intervertebral disc disease, and other things too. Now, this bill is just a bill, but it's meant to target torture breeding. Listen to this interview with Senior Vice President Lisa Lang from PETA asking if dachshunds are suffering and are in pain.
Are they suffering? Are they in pain because of their frames, their long backs, small legs, which is a direct result of how they've been bred?
Yes, we do believe it should be a ban on breeding the dachshund. It is part of their Animal Protection Act, and it's aimed at, as you say, ending the breeding of torture breeds. There is no excuse for breeding any dog for a look. If you buy a dog for a look, you shouldn't have a dog. The fact that these dogs have been bred for so long and living in pain for so long is not an excuse to keep going. It's quite the opposite.
But one thing that's not true is they're not in any pain. I talk a lot about this on my channel about responsible pet parenting, responsible breeding, being aware as a breeder, knowledgeable. But guess what? This is like this in all dogs. But the one breed that I strongly recommend that she's going to talk about in a moment is the French Bulldog. Take a listen.
Flat-faced breeds, breathing impaired breeds like French Bulldogs, because of everything we know about how these animals suffer terribly. Again, they're breeding these animals for a certain look, and it has caused a tremendous amount of suffering. These are Franken dogs. It's really like a sci-fi horror movie what these animals go through. So it is time to ban them.
Now, this is a breed we seriously need to work on somehow, some way. The reason why is because breathing, when they're snorting and doing that, they are uncomfortable. They are not having the best quality of life.
And those shelters, according to Time magazine, are overwhelmed and overflowing, with more workers headed back to the office and pet essentials like food and veterinarian care prices swelling. The number of unwanted dogs has in fact, it's soared across this country.
This is my opinion. I feel we all need to come together to the table to be responsible breeding, understanding great shelter medicine and adoption protocols, and matching responsible pet parents to the right dog and cat. I'm curious to get your take and your perspective on this conversation. I really want to keep this going because it's an important one to have. Do I think they should ban the breeding of dachshunds, especially in Germany? Absolutely not. But I do think that this puts pause on how we are responsible individuals together, especially at the end of the day, we all love these animals. And I know I can speak on all my colleagues that we all took a veterinarian's oath to do no harm to these animals. Let's work together to keep the conversation going.